Welcome back to the Weekly News Roundup. You can catch these shows live Fridays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from wherever we're broadcasting from. Today, we happen to be broadcasting from a big box store somewhere in California. Go figure. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get into our usual topics here. We have 3 articles each from Privacy, Security, AI, Business, and I believe I have 4 from SillyVille. So stay tuned for the silliness at the very, very end. And of course, you can catch these guys live, and we are also co-streaming on multiple different platforms. If you don't want to catch the stream on Zootubies, we also have things streaming over on Odyssey, Rumble, Twitch, and D-Live. If there's any more we should do, I don't know. We'll think about it. We're doing some back-end stuff right now. It'll be kind of fun. But anyway, let's go ahead and get on into the news. First, we have a new U.S. bill seeks to end warrantless police and FBI spying. I think the chances of this passing is very close to 0, being that it is literally just a hodgepodge of all of the nonsense that already hasn't passed. Really, it's stuff that's not nonsense that hasn't passed, and it hasn't passed because it does not absolutely crazy and nonsense. You know, if it's crazy and nonsense, we got to pass it. In fact, we got to pass the bill so we can find out what's in it. I mean, that's amazing. But this is all a suite of various privacy things that Senator Wyden is kind of mad none of them have passed, and he's compiled them all together in one giant pork belly privacy bill to try and pass it through. It's probably going to fail, especially since the current Speaker of the House has pushed back on the big group bills. I kind of support that. You know, I think that every single bill should be readable on a page or two, and one bill at a time pass through. I mean, these guys take enough vacation as it is. I mean, can I have some of your paid vacation time, please? I'm a little struggling over here, especially trying to pay gas prices in California. And, you know, my food bill's going up and up and up like a helium balloon. It's going to get to the top and just pop. And there I am. I'm going to have to be poaching bunny rabbits in the desert. Oh, boy. But anyway, this is just a hodgepodge of various privacy things, which I'm not even sure that's going to make much difference, even if we do pass a privacy law. Of course, our last story in this is going to be dealing with another privacy law that failed to do what it wanted to do. But this bill boils down to the Government Surveillance Reform Act 2023 is what they're trying to get into. And there are some other laws which are extending the Patriot Act, which are set to expire soon. And if they expire, that's great. But chances are they won't expire, because how else will the government know what you're up to? Because we keep on feeding it with our Windows and our Mac computers and our stock Android and Apple devices and all the other nonsense that we do on social media. You should get off all that stuff, guys. I mean, really. But Wyden put together a hodgepodge of different things to put together into one giant bill that does things like what California's bill does on a federal level, and just a series of other things. I like the idea, but the reality is it's probably not going to pass, being as it is simply a composite bill of other bills that have all independently failed. But who knows? Maybe the idea is just to throw them all together, drop one giant stack on people's desks, and go, here you go, we're voting on it in 1 hour. Okay, yes, sounds good. It's big and full of nonsense. I can't possibly read it. We got to pass it so we can find out what's in there. I love our government. This is a neat one from MIT. It's shockingly easy to buy sensitive data about U.S. military personnel. I'm not sure what MIT's fascination was with the military personnel, because I read through this and I was like, if it's specifically related to military, so what? No. Everything they're doing in here applies to every single person. I don't know why they focused on the military. Maybe if you know who, Colonel Sanders is, you're like, I got to find out that secret chicken recipe. By the way, if you go to the Twitter page on KFC, they only follow, follow, it's like 13 people. It's the 4 Spice Girls and a bunch of random guys named Herb. So Herbs and Spices, True story. All right. But anyway, for as little as 12 cents a record, data brokers in the U.S. are selling sensitive data about active duty military members and veterans, including their names, home addresses, geolocation, net worth, and religion, and information about their children and health conditions. So the reality is all of this data is being compiled by all of the cell phone usage. There's nothing special about the military they can do this on anybody and everybody, and they are. And this is why we need the bigger sweeping privacy reforms that makes it absolutely carte blanche illegal for any company to have any information about any individual person that is not explicitly granted, and removal can be invoked at any point in time. That we need to stop this United States hodgepodge Wild West of data sharing. That's exactly what needs to happen. So the unsettling study published on Monday, researchers from Duke University approached 12 data brokers in the U.S. and asked what would be necessary to buy this kind of information. They ultimately purchased thousands of records about American service members, finding that many brokers offered to sell the data without minimal vetting and were willing to deal with buyers using email domains based in U.S. and in Asia. So, a year-long study, which funded in part by the U.S. Military Academy in West Point, highlights the extreme privacy and national security risks created by data brokers. See, this is why this article is not just about the military, it's about everybody, because the data brokers are what is involved. We need a very simple one-page bill. I can write it for you guys. Anybody out there with the sound of my voice that happens to have any connections to any politician. It's a simple one-page bill. It simply says this. Online privacy is paramount. No company may have any information on any person without direct consent or exact need to have that exact information. All information can be revoked, and any person caught sharing any data on any other person with any other company will immediately be flogged and beaten in Times Square. All their assets will be stripped. Let's just go Old Testament. Let's pull out the central beam of their house and hang them on it. How's that sound? I'm kidding, maybe. But the big problem is with the data broker industry. We need a very simple one-page bill banning the data broker industry. But all these jobs, screw them. They can go out and be construction workers. The roads in this whole country are crap. We need more people doing manual labor. All right. All right. Companies are part of the shadowy multi-billion-dollar industry that collects, aggregates, buys, and sells data practices and that are currently legal in U.S. Many data brokers advertise they have hundreds of individual data points on each person in the database, and the industry has been criticized for exasperating the erosion of personal and consumer privacy. This is why we use and have a strong commitment to free and open source software on this channel, because we don't have it. Like, for example, the Christian apps for like Bible studies and stuff. There's two big Bible apps. One of those is YouVersion and one of those is the Bible Gateway. Mozilla did a direct study on YouVersion, which is an absolute abominable nightmare. That thing's got every data tracker known to man. It is completely funded by a completely heretical mega church that are absolutely crazy, and they're just pushing this wildly popular app which collects every bit of data about everybody and everything you're doing on your device. It was called one of the worst apps by Mozilla as they did the study. Not because it's Christian, because of what it objectively had in it. I believe the similar thing would happen to Bible Gateway app, but I don't know if I've found a study specifically on that one, exactly what it's doing. But I use AndBible because it is a free and open source application. It utilizes the Sword module platform. You can download the individual platforms. You can sideload them into the app. If you can go on a Tor if you're in a persecuted country, download the things on Tor, migrate them offline, and before you even go online to check for updates to versions or whatever else, it will give you an explicit warning that it's about to go on the internet. That's the type of apps we need to be using. I single that one out just because it's fresh on my mind. I just wrote another article for the stream where we talked about that, among other things, and the caution that we should have in computers and phones and privacy. So stream.org, search for my last name, Morosky. You can find the articles I've written over there on privacy as they relate to faith-based issues. But this all deals with the data practices of these companies. They're simply about the money. They collect and store and analyze as much data, and they sell it to anybody and everybody willing to buy it. This includes the government. This includes the scammers. This includes the hackers. This includes anybody and everybody. It is very easy to do. It just costs a little bit of money, 12 cents apparently per record. Well, our last big privacy snafu, this is a judge rules it's fine for car makers to intercept your text messages. This was actually a case filed through a privacy act in the state of Washington. The lower court said, yeah, you don't have a case. They took it to the appellate court. The appellate court says, yeah, this doesn't violate our privacy law. So a car permanently recording and storing all of your phone's data, including your text messages, does not violate Washington's privacy law. I think Washington's privacy law needs to be revoked. Okay. Clearly, it's not doing anything. But once again, I'm going to give you that very, very sheer reminder. As before, do not ever connect your phone to your car. If you have done that, pause this video now, go to your car, unconnect your car and your phone. Now, you can't actually delete them from having all that data up to this point in time, but you can prevent them from collecting metadata. But I need to use my phone in the car. No, you don't. It's a car. You should be driving. Or, I don't know, for, a couple bucks, you can pick up, I don't know, maybe, of course, I was going to grab, there it is. It's escaping me. It's a Bluetooth headset. I know you'll look like a 2000s tech dude with a Bluetooth thing in your ear, but it's perfectly legal to have one of these or one of the trucker ones on your head, and that guy there's not going to be collecting nearly as much data and storing it and passing on to your car company. Nobody should be putting your device, your phone into your car's computer. Period. They will collect it. They will analyze it. They know your metadata. They know who you're calling. They read your actual text messages. All this information is stored and sent back to the company to use in any way, shape, or form that they want, including giving it to all those data brokers. So, it's very possible that anybody that wants to can actually click on the, pay the 12 cents and actually get a copy of your text message. Maybe that's an extra quarter markup. 12 cents for just the record. It's going to be 12 cents plus a 75 or 25 cent markup if you want all the text messages too. Where'd you get the text messages? Ford. They were looking to make some money. All right. Federal judge has refused to bring back a class action lawsuit alleged 4 car manufacturers had violated Washington state privacy laws by using vehicles' onboard infotainment systems to read customers' text messages and mobile phone call logs. Judge ruled the practice doesn't meet the threshold for an illegal privacy violation under the state law. They appealed to the judge, and the judge dismissed it. The manufacturers, Honda, Toyota, Volkswagen, and General Motors, were facing 5 related privacy class action lawsuits. One of those cases against Ford had been dismissed on appeal previously. Infotainment systems and the company's vehicles began downloading and storing and copying all text messages on smartphones while they were connected to the system. Once messages have been downloaded, the software makes it impossible for the vehicle owners to access their communications and call logs, but does provide law enforcement with access, the suit said. And I've seen evidence of this. I've seen 2 cases on the True Crime Stories on A&E and some of the other ones where as part of the investigation, they have a court order to seize the black box from the car or the infotainment system from the car, and they can get the call logs, they can get the text, they can get all this stuff. I've seen this played out in court cases on real life crime cases. These are actually happening nowadays. All right. And you can't do anything about it. So you can't access the information, but law enforcement can. That does not violate Washington's Privacy Act. So what does their Privacy Act do? You can collect and store and analyze anything and hold it for law enforcement. But what can we do about it? Nothing. It doesn't violate the law. Really. All right. Of course, we talked recently about Mozilla did an analysis of all of these. Guys, modern cars are dangerous, and it's getting weird. Maybe it's a good thing if we won't have our own cars on the roads anymore. Maybe if you're renting the car ride, you're less inclined to sync your phone to it. I don't know. Of course, the app's going to have to know who's where and whatever else, but, the future of driving is looking grim. I might very well have to get myself a horse and move myself into some little Amish community in Homestead with little solar panels up there and ride old Bessie on into the town to the market, man. That's I'm gonna get pretty soon. I'll grow the beard longer and get a big old robe, call myself Obi-Wan Kenobi. Of course, that might support Disney, so I certainly wouldn't do that. Well, if you want to help support the channel, we do use affiliates. Today we're highlighting A2 hosting, tlm.li/A2H. If you need a website and a place to host that website, you can choose their various hosting platforms, and you can get discounts starting at $199 per month, and you can get those on up to full dedicated servers at $80 a month, which is actually a pretty good deal. So you can get a lot of different hosting plans, good options, good US-based support network, and They're independent from that crazy company that buys up and makes every other hosting company crap. So A2 hosting, tlm.li/A2H. That, let's move on over to security news. First up, naked photos before and after stolen from plastic surgeon and posted online, sent to victims, friends, and family. So what happened here is a doctor's office was not properly storing their digital data files. Shocking. I know. It's like this whole industry requires all of these internet connected stuff, and not one of them knows the first thing about security. Like, the password's probably Dr. Smith 123, you know? I mean, really. FBI is investigating a data breach where cyber criminals were able to steal patients' records from a Las Vegas plastic surgeon's office and then post the details online, which included nude photos. So in February, cyber criminals gained access to Hankins and Sons network, which has offices in Henderson and Las Vegas. From there, the cyber criminals were able to download patient information. Practice sent a letter to patients in March and April notifying them of the breach. So the hackers got in there, they stole patient data, which is just every bit. Cyber criminals didn't get what they wanted and started posting information online. Several patients and court documents say that stolen data included sensitive personal information such as names, social security numbers, also included nude photos of patients taken before and after surgery. The cyber criminals didn't stop at that. They sent data along with nude photos to family and friends through the patient's email accounts. That's exciting. So the lawsuit has been filed against the firm, claiming they didn't do enough to protect their private and personal information. None of the documents posted online were encrypted, and it was unclear Monday if they were storing data in a per the HIPAA rules. The reality is, though, is that this is a good reason to avoid some of this stuff. It's just like we need to have these laws that brings offline records as an option back. If I want to go in as a patient and say, look, I have serious concerns about cybersecurity, I do not want any of my information on internet connected systems, I should be able to have that right. Okay. Now, if you don't care and you want to be a normie, you enjoy yourself. Have fun. I don't care. I do not want that information to be breached. I do not want to go to a doctor that does that. Unfortunately, the laws are making it very, very, very difficult not to. One of our supporters, I believe he's okay saying this, he was a doctor that moved out of that industry because he did not philosophically, he did not want to store patient records on the internet. But you get fined for not doing so. So he was paying all sorts of fines for failing to store patient records on the internet. He finally just quit. And that's sad. That's very sad. We should be able to say, I don't want any of this information online. Why? It's going to Google. It's going to all these different things. In fact, I didn't, this was just one case. There was actually another case where a medical research, I think we do have some of that. A medical, is it the next one? Yes, it is the next one. In fact, let's just talk about this one. I was going to talk about this initially when it first came out. I threw it out for some other things, but we have an update. So Okta, this is I'm sorry, that's not the right one. Okay, never mind. I threw the article out. It was a medical research company that had been collecting and de-anonymizing all sorts of patient records for use with medical information. Their information was stolen, and all their records were stolen and compromised. So we need to have stronger safeguards. We need to go in and say, all right, doctor, my records get stored on paper in a filing cabinet, period. And if they can't honor that, I don't know. Okta, this one, I was also going to cover this one, and then I threw it out for something better, and then it came back. But this is actually a security company that does work for 1Password. They had an employee account was breached, and this led to a big security event at 1Password. So LastPass has been breached. 1Password has been breached. This one, so far, it appears as though it wasn't bad. It was just a support line. So it's not like the servers of 1Password were breached. It was the support, the third-party contracted support, which is the topic of our third security article today. But the curiousness around this one is what happened is the employee logged into their personal Google account from the work computer, and being logged into the personal Google account somehow allowed the hacker into the system. We don't know how yet. The details aren't there, but there's some connection that this one employee being able, logging into a personal Google account on the company's servers is the thing that caused the breach to occur. It is still being investigated how exactly being logged into a Google account actually did that. But 1Password, Beyond Trust, Cloudflare detected unauthorized login attempts to their in-house Okta administrator accounts. They reported the incidents to Okta. So the investigation, they found out from September 28th to October 17th, 2023, an attacker had unauthorized access to files inside Okta's customer support system associated with 134 Okta customers. The attacker gained access using stolen credentials of a service account stored in the system itself, which had permissions to view and update customer support cases. So here's where they think it happened. To gain access to the service account, the attacker compromised an Okta employee. The employee logged into the service account while they were signed into a personal Google profile in Chrome on their Okta managed laptop. This meant that the credentials of the service account were stored in the employee's personal Google account. The very reason I have been telling you for several years on this channel to not sign into your Google account and do not sign your browser in. You sign your Chrome browser into your Google account, it wants to store everything. And that appears as to be what happened. The keys to access their account got into their Google account. Their Google account was somehow compromised, allowing access to the service and every other service that was logged in with that Google account being active. So don't use that crap, guys. Don't sign in. But it's so convenient. Yeah, it's very convenient for the hackers. Very convenient for the hackers. So once the attacker is able to use session tokens in the HAR files to impersonate staff and hijack legitimate sessions of 5 customers, including 1Password, Beyond Trust, and Cloudflare. Isn't that fun? 1Password, I'm not sure what Beyond Trust is, but I'm not trusting them right now. My trust is beyond me. And Cloudflare, great. 3 companies I really don't want to be breached. I don't even know what Beyond Trust does, but they're Beyond Trust, so I don't know. All right. They're now locked down personal Google access on company managed computers. They've implemented a specific configuration option within Chrome Enterprise that prevents sign into Chrome on their Okta managed laptop. So there you have it, guys. Do not sign into Chrome into Google on Chrome because it's constantly going to cause a leaking of all of your session tokens. Maybe this is how LTT was hacked. I don't know. Kind of fun. All right, and on to our third one. FBI is warning of a new way to breach accounts. So this one's interesting since everybody and their brother wants to outsource every aspect of the business. Like now we're getting to this point where companies are one guy who had an idea and then he goes to Fiverr. He hires 5 people on Fiverr to do the stuff and he just sits back and goes, let's watch the money roll in. Well, all these other subcontracted guys working for peanuts on the side are doing all sorts of things. Well, since everybody's trying to do this, this is now the new attack vector. You know a company, you're basically doing some espionage. You know what type of companies you're interacting with. And so what they're doing is they are calling as if they are the third-party vendor saying, hey, we need access. And then the guy's like, oh, hold on. Here's the password. Here's this. And then they're just able to compromise the account. And then they use the login stuff to log into the legitimate service. So they've effectively done a social engineering man in the middle on you. Isn't that brilliant? But it's allowing them to get in the middle and intersect all the stuff. You think that you're working with a legitimate contractor. You're really working with a hacker who has now implemented a theft strategy on your enterprise. Because you're not trying to do stuff yourself. You're trying to, outsource it, and like it or not, oftentimes we go to the lowest bidder rather than anything else. So between 2022 and 2023, FBI noted ransomware attacks compromising casinos through third-party gaming vendors. Attacks frequently targeted small and tribal casinos, encrypting servers, and the personally identifying information of employees and patrons. They report as of June that Silent Ransom Group, SRG, also known as Luna Moth, had been observed conducting callback phishing data theft and extortion. The threat actors sent victims a phone number in a phishing attempt, often related to pending charges on their accounts. Once the victims called the provided phone number, the attackers instructed them to connect to a legitimate system management tool through a link provided in the follow-up email. The attackers then used these management tools to install other legitimate system management tools that could be exploited for carrying out further malicious activities. So be careful who you're hiring for your contracting. Isn't that exciting? Well, if you want to help support the channel, you can head off a look over at our shop, shop.switchedtolinux.com. We have some nice alien and tinfoil hats, coffee cups, t-shirts. We even have some baby onesies. Come on. Wouldn't that make your mother-in-law go crazy? Take your baby over with a Switch to Linux tinfoil hat time on their alien shirt. Yeah. Isn't my baby cute? Got the alien with the tinfoil hat. Oh, yeah. Epic stuff. Here's some hats, hoodies. My hoodie's working on year 3 traveling the country in van life. The thing's lasting. I'm getting a little rip in the corner there, but not bad. Shop.SwitchedToLinux.com. Now let's have a look at what our AI overlords are up to, shall we? A Ghost, now OpenAI backed, claims large language models will overcome self-driving setbacks. Experts are skeptical. I'm also skeptical. Okay. Like, yes, large language models are going to overcome driving setbacks. You do realize these things are trained to look for anomalies inside of data sets. Well, I don't know. These days, the anomalies based on driving through California interstates for the last 2 days, the anomalies very well might be the good drivers. But more often than not, the anomalies are bad drivers. You're going to train these self-driving cars to the large language models, be like, nah, and just cut people off. It's going to be crazy. The little lights on the back is going to roll up a little birdie. Whoa! That's what the large language models are going to do. I'm sorry. I do not want, like, self-driving technology is so bad. We booted it. I think we booted. I don't know. I can't remember that. I'm not going to guess what's coming up. I have no idea anymore. We started with like 30 articles. I whittled it down to like the 15 we're using. But California recalled all of their cruise models because California, well, GM recalled the cruise models because California said you can't put that crap on a road anymore. First intelligent thing California's done in a while. All right. And so with that, they're like, hey, we got a great idea. Let's put large language models in here. Then we'll train them off of people's driving data. As long as they're training them off of the upper 10% and not the lower 10% of that black box GPS that your insurance company is forcing you to put in your front of your car now. As long as they're labeling off of that one, that's certainly okay. So with that, though, they're trying to say that Ghost and Autonomy, a company building autonomous driving software for automakers partners this week, announced that its plans will begin exploring the application with multi-module large language models, AI models that can understand text as well as images and self-driving. Great. So based on what ChatGPT is able to do, completely manufacturing things because it knows you want an answer, producing images of, four-fingered people and all sorts of other weird anomalies, I really do not want self-driving cars on the road that have been trained by a large language model. Let me know what you think. Google is experimenting with the new generative AI features in YouTube. So fortunately, this is not on the creator end. This is on the consumer end of YouTube. So you can go in, if you're using the Android app, it's the only place it's available. You can go into the Android app and you can opt to test out the new features. This is going to basically, this is going to be the bane of YouTube, as if YouTube doesn't already have enough banes. So you can go in and with the video still playing, you can interact with the chat module. And as you go over, you can see what is the summarized AI comments. So great. The summarized AI comments. Okay, this is going to be fun. It's going to find a channel that they're commenting comments and not being monitored anymore. And then what it's going to do is it's going to summarize that and give you a wonderful summary of all of the scams available in the YouTube comment section. That's going to be great. It's awesome. The other thing you can do is you can simply ask the thing, hey, what's this video about? Wonderful. Instead of actually, this is the bane. I've had this conversation with the younger generation because a friend of mine watches a lot of movie reviews and then makes assumptions about the movie without never actually seeing the movie. This is a modern thing. The younger generation, this is what they're into. They're not into sitting down and watching the movie. They're into watching what somebody else has said about the movie and then basing their opinions on what somebody else has said about the movie, which is complete garbage. You should sit down and analyze it yourself. All right. But now YouTube's bring this in, so you can now ask the chat, hey, what's this video about? So oftentimes as a creator, I see people that clearly have not watched the video or understood it. They'll post some comment, blah, 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 and like, did you watch the video? I watched the video. I think you need to watch it again. And then, it's like, it's very clear they haven't watched it. Now we have AI that's going to allegedly summarize my video. So you can just ask the AI what I said rather than watching the video to see what I said. Isn't that great? Is that AI going to get it right? I can just imagine the summaries on like a Ben Shapiro video. This crazy white supremacist guy is going to destroy the whole world. That's not what I said. I said to buy ExpressVPN. Come on. Come on. All right. Was that a good Ben Shapiro imitation? And now on to ExpressVPN. All right. So new experimental stuff. But hey, if you want to play with YouTube AI, have at it. Have at it. It'll be fun. All right. So the last one. God. Talk about the bane of stupid here. This might actually be the worst thing Mozilla's ever done. I'm not completely sure. I know that's a hard bar to get to. Fakespot chat. Mozilla's first large language model lets online shoppers research products via an AI chatbot. Great. So now we're going to get an AI summary of all the fake reviews. So now instead of sifting through the reviews to figure out which ones are good, which ones are not, making your decision, no. Just like AI has completely destroyed search engines. You guys notice no search engines work well anymore? Because they've handed everything over to AI. It's a bunch of nonsense now. Now they're going to do the same thing for product reviews. So now you can't even go in and review the products. No. The AI is going to tell you if the scammers did a good job of marking up the reviews. That's what's going to happen. Come on. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? That's awesome. That's awesome. So Fakespot, Mozilla's first large language model, lets online shoppers research products via an AI chatbot. What types of things is it giving us? Well, look at this. Welcome to Fakespot chat. How is the lumbar support? The chair supports great lumbar support with a soft mesh back. I'm sure that the AI chatbot has sat in the chair to know how good the lumbar support is. No. You know where you find this information? On the technical specs. So you can read about how firm it is. I'm sure there's some pounds per square inch on elite chairs that'll tell you exactly how the lumbar support is. They'll tell you what the back is. Oh no. Rather than going to the product and actually looking for it, I can actually ask this. And rather than going to the product to see where the information is, the AI is going to tell you from the reviews. Somebody at Mozilla thought this was a good idea. Would you guys move to like Ohio or something? You're smoking recreational reefer all the time? Jeez, what's going on here? All right. So, feature available via Fakespot Analyzer. It can be used on Amazon.com. Oh God. Great. That's all I need. An AI chatbot to summarize the comments that I can better find in the product description. Yeah. Well, the internet's it. I was wrong. Or was I right? AI is just making us a bunch of stupid incomprehensibles. It's not competent enough to enslave us or destroy us. Heck, you put a traffic cone on these cars and they stop. I don't know what to do. There's a cone on me. Like using the wrong pronoun for a transgender person. If you want to help support the channel, because I'm never getting a job again, head on over to Locals, SwitchedToLinux.locals.com. You can jump on over there and you can help support the community over there. We're doing some science fiction short stories. Our next one's going to be rolling out here in a few days. hopefully I have time to do the audiobook. I haven't had the opportunity because it's like I'm in California. There's traffic noise everywhere I've been for the last 3 weeks. I got to get out to the deserts where I can film my audiobook in peace. But the text is done, ready to go. The next one deals with what happens with IoT devices in your house that you just blindly hand over to regulations like, California's at Title 24, I think. But we do have some fun IoT-related science fiction stuff coming up here for you supporters. You can find that over on SwitchedToLinux.locals.com. With that, let's head on over to business news. First up in business, Cruise. I did include the article. Look at that. Cruise recalls all self-driving cars after the grisly accident and the California ban. So there's an accident. Now, the Cruise didn't hit somebody. It just, somebody got jammed under a Cruise after they were hit by another car. And then the Cruise is like, thump, thump, what's that? Because it doesn't see what's going on. But where they really hung themselves is they didn't actually comply with law enforcement requests for the cameras and things. So they kind of tried to hide stuff. That gets into like criminal evading, criminal crap where, if the police ask you for stuff, you got to answer them correctly or it's a crime. So they didn't really do that. And so California's like, all right, fine. No more driving any of your crap anywhere. And so they recall them all, 950 cars, not to pull them out and rip their brains out and sell them as dumb cars. No, of course not. Just for updating the software. Great. We're probably updating the software with a large language model third party, which is probably disguised cleverly as a hacker. And now what's going to happen is they're going to unleash 950 cars, and then all of a sudden the lights are going to turn red and they're going to enslave the cities. But it's in California, so we don't really mind. What do we say? So I don't know. Would anybody run California's defense if a bunch of self-driving cars took them all over? That's a good question. Like the Chinese invasion question, Chinese might invade the United States on landmass. They get through California. They conquer and hold California because, no one's allowed to have any weapons over there. And then they get stopped at the border of all of you get to that wall right past the mountains when people all have the firearms, know how to use them. And then they stop the Chinese right dead in their tracks. Is anybody going to go over to rescue California? Be like, you haven't. That's the question that's being asked here by Cruise. They're recalling them all to update the software after one of them dragged a pedestrian to the side of a San Francisco street in early October and a subsequent ban. They said that the updated software Cruise vehicles will remain stationary should an incident occur in the future. So the crash prompted Cruise to suspend driverless operations. It didn't prompt Cruise to suspend driverless operations. It prompted California to suspend their operations. Difference. Very big difference. In the crash, another vehicle with a person behind the wheel struck a pedestrian, sending the person into the path of the Cruise. Cruise initially stopped, but still hit the person, and then pulled to the right to get out of traffic, pulling the person about 20 feet. Forward pedestrian was pinned under one of the Cruise vehicle's tires and was critically injured. Yikes. We're just going to pull these back and update the software with large language models because that'll go well. Great. All right. Well, Consumer Finance Protection Bureau wants to regulate Venmo, Apple Cash like banks, probably other ones like this. I don't know. I'm torn on this one. I want your thoughts. Let me know in the comments. On the positive side, these are companies that are trying to be banks, but be businesses. They want all of the privileges of banks, but all of the freedom of non-bank businesses. So on one hand saying, all right, you're now basically a bank. You have to regulate yourself as one. I think would put us in a much better position on the privacy end because there are specific regulations about what companies that hold your data as part of financial institutions can do that's not specifically related to what other options might be. And so we have that on one trend. On one side. On the opposite side, however, we have to ask this fun question about these. if they start regulating these, are they just going to do a power grab regulating anything and everything that collects any form of money, in which case the entire industry is going to turn into a much crazier place. It's going to be a lot harder to do basic transactions for small businesses to do websites. Big businesses can still navigate it, but small guys like me will be in a lot harder position, because now Stripe will start doing things like a bank and PayPal will start doing things like a bank. That could be positive, but it could have some negatives on it as well. So that just happens to be just some of the thoughts. I mean, I don't really know, but really it just boils down to the CFPC is looking at all these guys going, these guys are starting to process a lot of money and a lot of transactions, and they're doing it without the regulatory processes that basically strengthen most banks. And so that does bear with it some question about, should we have a better conversation about this is, I guess, the better way to go. So let me know your thoughts, though, because I don't know, I'm kind of mixed on that one. Well, I'm not mixed as the stupidity on this. Waiting for Louis Rossman's take on it. Chamberlain, this is a company that creates not only their smart garage doors, but of several other brands as well. Well, you can buy the smart garage door opener, and then up to this point in time, you could interface with it with a variety of different apps. So, you could use your Home Assist system, the full open source self-hosted home automation platform to manipulate things. You could use third-party apps. Chamberlain's like, absolutely not. Nobody may do anything here at all going forward. And so they make LiftMaster, Chamberlain, Merlin, and is it Grifco? That is a really bad name for a garage door. Grifco. They're going to grift your door open so the robbers can get in there. I mean, this is why they don't want any third-party apps on it. Come on, they want to be able to grift it all themselves. Is that what a grifter is? The person who, if they're doing their job right, the guy opens the door for them? Come on. It's a bad name for a garage door opener. Just saying. It would like its customers to stop doing smart home things with its MyQ smart garage door openers. The company recently issued a statement decrying unauthorized usage of its smart garage door openers. That's unauthorized usage by people who bought the garage door opener. By the way, basically, Chamberlain's customers want to trigger the garage door, see its status through a third-party smart home apps. But Chamberlain doesn't want that. Why, of course? Because they want you using exclusively their app, because they drive all sorts of advertisement to you. So literally, you buy a lot of money for a smart garage door opener. They want you to use exclusively their app, which is going to show you ads every single time you want to open your garage door. No. So the Chamberlain Group recently made a decision to prevent unauthorized usage. So if you already own one of these and they shut off functionality that you have, I'm sorry, you can buy it back at full cost from me. You want to make, this is exactly the thing that we're talking about. That Louis Rossman talked about a lot. I have purchased the device. You don't like how I'm using the device. So now retroactively, you are changing the way I'm using my device. That is a bunch of nonsense. This decision was made so we can continue to provide the best possible experience to our Pen Plus members. The best possible experience is showing somebody an ad. Like, okay, I got to get in. I really got to do a number 2. I just got in here. Watch this 2-minute ad before you can open your garage door. No! We want to provide the best possible experience by pushing ads on every aspect of our app. So you can no longer use the app that is ad-free for the device that you purchased from us. Stop buying this crap, people. As well as our authorized partners who put our trust in us. We understand this impacts a small percentage of users, but ultimately this move will improve the performance and reliability of MyQ, benefiting all of our users. I think that MyQ lacks IQ. I mean, jeez. We encourage those who are impacted to check out our authorized partners here. No, if you have one of these things, you all need to be petitioning the company for a full 100% money back on whatever you spent on that device. No. Let's see. We caught wind of the statement through the Home Assistant blog, a popular open source smart platform. MyQ integration is being stripped from the project because it doesn't work anymore. Allegedly, Chamberlain has been sabotaging Home Assistant support for a while now, with integration maintainer Lash telling the Home Assistant blog, "We are playing a game of cat and mouse with MyQ right now. It looks like the cat is winning." Well, you just need to feed it a poisoned mouse. Sadly, the app now displays advertisements at the very top and I cannot find a way to disable it, writes a Play Store reviewer. Google doesn't provide links to reviews. This is a very disturbing. On top of it, it moves my garage door opening button out of the visible part of the screen. So now I have to look at the ads, scroll down in hope to find my button. You'll probably end up clicking on a malvertisement. It'll compromise your entire phone. That's going to compromise your device itself. That's going to compromise your entire at-home network. All of your computers on the device are going to be completely filled with encryption malware because these morons wanted to push one more ad. I don't want ads in an app that I've already paid for on the companion product. One other one-star review mentioned things like, I clicked door open close event and it popped up a video storage subscription dialog and asked me to subscribe. Most of the app is dedicated to trying to upsell you on services and devices you don't need. Oh, come on, man. What? Where's the... All right, we need to find this app. All right. Is the MyQ app Google Play Store? I should have looked this up. I must have forgotten to read this article because, man, I want to look this stuff up now. Let's see. MyQ garage door. All right. Let's see here. Updated just a couple days ago. There you go. This app keeps getting worse and worse. Doesn't work with home automation apps except the very few they allow. Sometimes it just doesn't work and logs out of your account. Notifications are sometimes prompt, but usually very delayed. Now they're even putting ads on the home screen. It's really like making me concerned about data privacy. I don't understand why the app is so rigid. I'm looking into alternatives and there are several easy options out there. Yeah. See, y'all need to take the thing out, send it back, and be like, you have completely changed my... Where's the class action lawsuit saying, look, we bought the device, it was working just fine in our setup, now they've changed the device to force us to use their stuff, which is a huge violation. Used to work exactly as advertised when I bought it. Over the course of years, functionality has been removed bit by bit. Now all third-party ad support has been removed in order to make sure users have only the MyQ app, which is now showing ads. Try to open the door, instead we're showing a video ad. So you got to take a turd. Buy cotton, soft bathroom tissue. Oh, yeah. This is exciting. Let's see. Hey, somebody gave it a 2. I want to check the video history. Click the open door. Popped up video storage subscription. Dialog asked me to subscribe. Look at this. Changed the app. Have made it unusable. App has worked fine. Didn't have any issue. Latest update, though, added ads to the home screen, which takes away the full view for the garage door open button. The ads were intrusive, by design, of course, and made the home screen less user-friendly. Ads, in fact, will assure I won't purchase anything advertised by the company. Yeah, we should do an advertiser boycott against all the apps you find. Jesus. Looks like they are not a good device. Oh, look, a moron. He gave it a 3-star review. Concept is great. However, the button only appears after you wait for an advertisement to finish playing. You gave it a 3? See? Using Google Play services is going to reduce your IQ. Well, anyway, time for an ad. Got to pay our bills somehow. We do use affiliates, tlm.li/PWA. I use ProWritingAid when I am writing my books and short stories. I use this to get really good editing tools, and this will oftentimes catch things that I miss or things that Language Tool, which is my primary pass editor, misses. I'll run it through these, and we also always get a really good final product. I can choose, is it science fiction? Is it a children's book? Is it academic literature? There's all sorts of pre-selections you can choose from. Using this, you can get 20% off off of your premium or premium pro options on the lifetime or the yearly. There's no discount on the monthly, but that will still help support the channel. TLM.li/PWA. And with that, guys, let's head on over to SillyVille, as if the stupid garage door opener was not silly enough for all of us. Well, a junkyard employee stopped a thief by lifting his car 20 feet in the air until police arrived. So, guy broke into a junkyard, stole something from a car, tried to get into his car and leave. The employee just jacked him up 20 feet in the air in a forklift. Let's see if the tweet loads over here. Or the X. What is it called now? It's not called an X anymore. What's it called? Is it called a Musk? We're musking it. All right. So here the guy just kind of got out the forklift and raised the car super high in the air. Called the police like, hey, you want to come here? I caught a guy trying to steal stuff from my junkyard. Where's he now? He's in his car. Is he driving away? No, I lifted him 20 feet in the air with my forklift. So the police just had to, let him on down and handcuff him. Very nice, right? That's kind of what we need. Now, of course, sadly, the DA is just going to tell him, don't do that again and get out of here. I'll tell your daddy next time, So there you go. That's fun tech. We talked about DoorDash wanting to have tips. I have a tip for you, DoorDashers. Pick up your DoorDash as soon as it's delivered. Because if you don't, you very well may...
Cameras from a Florida home show a driver delivering food.
There you go.
$45 Taco Bell order. And taking a photo of the order as she left it.
There you go. She takes her picture of the Taco Bell order. As if you couldn't just pick the stupid thing up and drive off with the $45.
Moments later, though, this bear walks up, grabs the bag of
bear's
food,
like, hey, Taco Bell. Poor homeowner, though, what they didn't mention, the rest of the story, poor homeowner had to clean up a Taco Bell bear explosion in the backyard. Yikes. So, $45 worth of Taco Bell gone because a black bear's like, there's some crunchy Supremes. I hope that the bear went to the grumpy neighbor's house to relieve himself afterwards. So there you go. If you're using DoorDash, make sure that you are picking up that order pretty quick, or else you might be sharing it with a bear. And if it's Taco Bell, you don't want to help with what the bear's leaving behind. Well, the Fornite choreographer lawsuit is back on. The appeals court says that the original lawsuit was filed wrongly. So if you don't remember this one, this was a few years ago. Fortnite, of course, has these little dances in there that you can buy for $5. Like, do these people not realize their economy is crashing? That they're paying $5 for dance moves for a video game? For half a tank of gas, you can, half a gallon of gas, half a tank. Where was I? You can buy these different dance moves. Well, it turns out actually that a lot of companies have sued Fortnite. Let's see, Jennifer Lopez, Britney Spears, Justin Bieber, array of K-pop stars, all have sued them. Some of them have had good success. So the dance was called It's Complicated, and Fortnite was selling it. The original court had said, oh, no, it's just a couple things. But the appellate court said, no, you took a couple snapshots. Well, taking individual still photos isn't a violation of the copyright necessarily. But Fortnite didn't have individual photos. They had a sequence of moves that was an actual copyrighted dance because this person is a high-end choreographer. And so it makes sense that the person would and is able to copyright the dances. Fortnite took it and then sold it for $5 a pop a variety of times online. And that is a legitimate claim for copyright. It is a legitimate claim. So the appellate court kicked it back down. So it is back down to the lower court to make a decision based not on still images, but on the actual sequence of video clip, not image. And so we'll see what happens. But Fortnite is back in court because they stole another person's dance moves. You'd think at some point in time, Fortnite might stop stealing dance moves. Maybe just, we're done selling stupid dances for people to taunt their enemies. All right, there's a thought. Whatever that's worth. And guests at the Bored Ape event in Hong Kong are now struck with vision problems. Lacking the wisdom of Solomon, the people who put on this conference decided that they should run the conference with a lot of ultraviolet light. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that ultraviolet light is bad for your eyes, not to mention your skin. And so here we have the companies using ultraviolet lights, just I guess to make things look cooler. And now everybody's having all sorts of eye problems. So Ape Fest, it's called the Ape Fest. What timeline are we living in? Well, the Ape Fest Festival, held every year for members of the Bored Ape Yacht Club, aka Bored Apes, who have invested in a collection of 10,000 non-fungible tokens featuring computer-generated profile pictures of cartoon apes. It just describes our society. Spending thousands of dollars on one-of-a-kind computer-generated apes. Planet of the Apes is true, man. Excuse me. I need to go eat some lice off my back now. Maybe I'll find it in the beard. Well, more than a dozen people who attended Ape Fest in Hong Kong took social media afterwards to complain that they were suffering from eye pain and vision problems. One attender, posting on X, formerly Twitter, really, just call it Twitter, under the handle Crypto June, wrote, "Woke up in the middle of the night after the Ape Fest with so much pain in my eyes, I had to go to the hospital. Doctor told me it's due to the UV light from stage. I go to festivals often, but I've never experienced this." Fellow attender Chloe G told the Financial Times that the stage lights were quite strong and that by about 3 a.m. after the party, she had started feeling as though her eyes were being burnt with spicy chili. Yep. There you go, guys. Severe eye burn from UV lighting because you went to the Ape Fest. Yeah. Maybe I just don't get it. Maybe I'm just, I don't know. I'm something. Well, if you want to help support this channel so we can keep on doing fun videos, you can have a look over on Patreon, patreon.com/TOMM. You can join us on over there. The next science fiction short story will be rolling out soon. And you can help us out over there. With that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Thank you for watching this video from SwitchedToLinux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.